I just realized I didn't film an intro for this video, so. Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Hope y'all are doing well. Today we're gonna be reading 3 romance books in this video. And I'm super excited because it is the month of love. It is the time for romance books, specifically to get their moment, their day in the sun, their time to shine. And I'm actually filming this after I read all of them. And I'm not gonna lie, I might have a few new favorite romance books. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first book that we're reading in this video is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. You guys know my obsession with Better Than the Movies and just Lynn Painter in general. This is one of her YA romances and one of the last ones that I have to read before I read all of her YA romances. And then I've read Mr. Wrong Number. It's back there somewhere. But that one is one of her contemporary adult romances, and I want to read The Love Wager that was after that. They were also just very like quick and easy reads. They're like interconnected standalone, so it's about her brother in that like little series thing. Also, I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. Literally, look how stunning these sprayed edges are. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed, especially because I don't have a lot of books with sprayed edges. Absolutely love it. Anyways, as you can see, I have a bookmark in. I'm about like 30 pages in. Okay, 45 pages in, and I've already gotten to the main plot of the book. So this book is about a girl named Emily, and it's set on Valentine's Day, and she's so excited. She has this gift for her boyfriend, and she's gonna tell him that she loves him and all these things. And she just loves Valentine's Day. Like, this is her first Valentine's Day having a boyfriend. She's just so excited. And then everything literally goes wrong from there. Like, she has one of the worst days of her life ever. And then she takes a nap, and she wakes up, and it's Valentine's Day again. So we got a Groundhog Day trope. I've actually never read a book with that trope, so I don't know if I like it or not. A lot of people say that they don't because it's just too repetitive, and I understand that. This book is also shorter. I think it's not even 300 pages. Yeah, it's 291 pages, and then there's also some bonus content with the guy in this book having his perspective on a lot of things, which is kind of fun because I always ask for what's his perspective in Better Than Movies. Like, I always wanted it, so I'm glad that we at least get that in here. But yeah, that's basically why it's called The Do-Over, because she's doing Valentine's Day over and over again, and I think that she's probably going to stop the things that happen, or at least try to stop them. I don't really know, but it's giving all the cutesy romancy vibes, which is exactly what I wanted. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna try and binge this today. I don't really have a lot of stuff left to do, and I think it's only like 1 o'clock. And I'm also reading with my best friend Brooke tonight. We're actually buddy reading this book right now, and her books always just go so fast for me, so I feel like I'm gonna be able to finish it today. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I am gonna go ahead and start getting back into reading this again, and then I'll give you guys some updates later. Cringiest slash funniest, most outrageous moments I've ever read, and this is why YA books sometimes just like hit, because you never know what they're gonna say or do. I am flying through this like I thought I would though, currently on page 173. I will say though that this one has a lot of like 30-page chapters, which is kind of wild, but it is like a different book. Like I said, like it's like a Groundhog Day, so things are repeating, so almost each chapter is like a different day, but they're kind of like split up, like they do like a page break type thing. So it's not like I can't stop at the page break, because I do that sometimes. I stop at the page break instead of just reading the whole chapter, which is nice because sometimes just knowing that you have to read 30 pages for a chapter is just a lot, even if you're gonna end up like binging the whole book or reading the whole book anyway. I do have to say though that this does have one of my least favorite tropes. Yeah. So I'm a little disappointed. I think in YA books, it's different when this trope shows up because they're just kids. Like, even though that, I'm just gonna say it, nobody should cheat like ever. Like, they're just kids. Like, they're trying to figure everything out. So there's that, and there's a little bit of like love triangle-ness too. But it's just like different in a YA book in my opinion. Just because the whole thing's like, like this book is so unserious, you know what I mean? It's literally just made to be cheesy, lighthearted fun. So that's what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna take those tropes too seriously in this book. If it's a contemporary romance though, adult romance, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, that's way too messy for an adult romance in my opinion. But I don't know, I'm enjoying it. Definitely giggling, as you guys saw literally my reaction to that moment. All I'm gonna say is Cupid Shuffle, and you'll know if you've read this. But yeah, I was literally giggling and laughing out loud even though there's nobody else in my home besides me. In those little clips too where you guys saw me reading, I showed you how foggy it was outside. Oh my gosh, like this was like the perfect day to sit down and binge a book just because it's so like disgusting outside. And I don't know why, but whenever it's kind of like eerie and rainy and stuff, it just makes me feel so cute and cozy. Like I gotta curl up with a nice little book and sit on my couch. I like am in the same exact spot as you guys last saw me. I have gotten up and taken like a few little breaks, but for the most part I've just been like reading the entire day. And again, I just love how quickly I can go through a Lynn Painter book. They're just so fun, easy, fast reads. If you guys haven't really gotten as into reading yet and haven't really found a book that's for you and you think you would like a YA book, basically if you like any like YA movies, like To All the Boys I Loved Before, The Kissing Booth, if you like The Summer I Turned Pretty, like I think you would really enjoy a Lynn Painter book. Definitely recommend it as like a first timing book. I recommend Better Than Movies to like everybody as their first book that they should read whenever they get like back into reading as an adult. I'm gonna go ahead and keep on reading. I might change into my pajamas. I know that Brooke and I are gonna be FaceTiming reading tonight too. I don't know how far she is into this, but I definitely want to finish this tonight. I don't know, no other thoughts, kind of just like vibes right now. It's doing what I need it to do and it's just giving me some romance fun and I love it. Hey guys, I am back. I didn't end up reading with Brooke tonight. We ended up watching The Bachelor instead. Very fun and fresh time. I always forget how much I enjoy The Bachelor until like I watch it. But then when I'm not watching, I'm like, I don't want to watch that. But then when I'm watching it, I literally get so into it. I love it so much. As you can see, I'm ready for bed. I forgot to film this clip before I got ready for bed, so don't mind the little pimple cream patches we got going on. I do have about 60 pages left in The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, and one thing I will say about this book is that there are a lot of Taylor Swift references and that it is very invisible string coded. If you know, you know. And I'm kind of loving that. I kind of really like our main character, Emily's character development. I think that I'm finally getting to a point in the book where things are getting a lot different, which I am very excited for, especially considering that it's like the Groundhog Day reoccurring theme. I do honestly think though it was a little bit slow to start out. I don't know if that's just because of the Groundhog Day thing or what, but now that I'm past like the middle, I feel like in this last third is really what I'm gonna get, like what I've been wanting out of this book the entire time, which is weird. I think it's just because of the trope, but normally Lynn Painter's books don't feel super slow to me. I mean, I'm still eating it up and binging it and like it's been a great time, but it just hasn't been as fast paced as her other books in my personal opinion. And the last part I read about, whenever her and one of the guys in this book spent a lot of time together on one of the reoccurring days, I just really enjoyed it. I like them together a lot. I think it's very cutie. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I like how this guy is very different from a lot of the other male main characters that Lynn Painter normally like writes in her books. I don't really know what else to say besides that I'm liking it and enjoying it and reading it, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish this tonight before I go to bed, and then I will update you guys on my thoughts in the morning. Okay, don't mind the setup. I'm literally just about to film my TBR for the month of February, so that's why my TBR card's right here. But I figured before I did that, I would talk to you guys about The Do-Over because I did end up finishing it. I did enjoy this a lot. I think it is my least favorite Lynn Painter, at least from her YA selection that she has. I think it's my least favorite. I think from her YA books, it would go Better Than the Movies, Betting on You, which I actually really enjoyed, and then The Do-Over. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna rate this yet either. I'm gonna wait until the end of this video to rate like I normally do, just because I always rate books like the day after or the second after I read them, and then I ended up changing it anyways. So I'm gonna let this sit in my brain for a little bit and then let you know exactly what I felt about it at the end of this video. But as of right now, I did enjoy it. It was very cute, very fun, exactly what I wanted from a YA book and exactly what I expect from Lynn Painter. I don't think that the Groundhog Day took too much for me. I think it was just slow to start out, kind of like I was talking about last night. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. It was cute and fun, and that's all I really expected. So yeah, I liked it. It was cute. First book is done. For our next book, I'm really not sure what I want to read. I know what our last book is going to be though, so I have that kind of like set to the side because I'm very excited to read that. But I have two options right here, and I actually posted a poll on my Instagram story. Most of the time whenever I do stuff like that where I want to like ask you questions and stuff, I post it on my Instagram story. Very rarely do I post it to YouTube. I actually made my first YouTube community. Sorry, my bangs are really bothering me right now. But I just made my first like YouTube community tab post thing, so I don't know how often I'll be doing that, but most of the time whenever I want to talk to you guys, I do it on Instagram or just like in the comments on my videos. Anyways, speaking of, I did post a poll on Instagram for the next book that I'm gonna read in this video because I just like genuinely don't know what I want to read. And these are two books that I have wanted to read for a really long time and have been on my TBR for a minute. Maybe not physical TBR, but like in my mind, I've been like, I want to read these books really bad. The first one is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This was her YA debut, but I've also heard a lot of people say that this isn't really giving the same feeling as a YA book. Like they don't really see the difference besides like the age of the characters from her other books. So I'm interested to see what I think of this. Heard a lot of mixed reviews, honestly. And then the other option is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've never read an Elsie Silver book and I have heard nothing but amazing things, and I really want to get into the Chestnut Spring series. This is a 5-book cowboy romance series. And I want to see if I'm into the cowboy romances. So these are our two options. I posted the poll and I honestly have no idea what's gonna get chosen because I don't know, I feel like they're both like pretty popular-ish books. I honestly have zero idea which one you guys are gonna pick, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and the next clip will be me reading one of these books. As you guys have already seen, I started Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood because that is the book that you guys chose, and it was between that and Flawless, and I believe the voting was like 45% to 50%, or not 50%, 55%, because that literally doesn't equal 100%. So the votes were like really close, which is kind of cool, and I'm planning to read Flawless like really soon, maybe in February anyways, so I'm not too worried about getting to that, even though I am really excited to read it. But I am so glad that I picked up this book. I'm currently on page 104 and I'm like really enjoying it. I wanted to check in now before I got too far in just to give you guys like a brief synopsis because I really haven't talked about this book yet in this video. This book is basically about a girl named Mallory, and she is working so hard to keep her family afloat. Like she's literally not going to college even though she's super smart, and she works this job because her mom is super sick and she has 2 younger sisters that she has to take care of, so she's paying like the mortgage and all these bills and paying for school events and stuff like that for her sisters, just like keeping her family afloat because her dad is also not in the picture anymore. I'm really not sure what that is all about, but he was the reason for her love for chess, and ever since like he hasn't been in her life, I guess I should say, because I really don't know what the situation is, she basically hasn't played chess. But then she plays in the tournament against this like #1 best chess player and she wins out of nowhere, and then everything just kind of like changes. And so far there has been like quite a bit of information about chess and not as much romance. It's giving like very slow burn, which honestly I love a good slow burn, and it's not like too slow at the moment. Like I'm getting little like hints and like flares and specks of romance, which is kind of like all I need. Like they're interacting a lot more than I thought they would at this point, just because a lot of people were saying in their reviews like there's just like not enough romance. But I don't know, I feel like I'm fine with it for now, at least. Like I'll update you guys later obviously whenever I go to see if there's not enough or whatever as we get in, but I feel like we're just kind of getting into the story. But I don't think that it was slow. I found everything like super interesting. I think all the chess information is super interesting too, and I don't know, like I'm really enjoying the chess stuff. Like it's not to the point where it makes me feel stupid. Like Ali Hazelwood always writes books about like very smart like women in like STEM or just like whatever, like women in like cool, more male dominated fields or activities or whatever. And I think it's really cool how Mallory is depicted in this book just in general, but along with her chess playing, like I think, I don't know, like Ali Hazelwood is just so good for that reason, because I feel like it's just not depicted enough or not talked about it enough. And I love that her books are low-key kind of like mainstream like book talk books, like one of the first books that a lot of people grab now, because I think it's awesome that we're kind of like talking about that as a society now. I don't know, I just love her writing so much. I'm reading this so quickly, and this book also makes me want to reread Love Theoretically, which I read last year, but I was like buddy reading it while I was doing a 24-hour readathon, and Fourth Wing took me like forever to finish because the word count is actually insane and the words are like so freaking tiny. So I just like needed a break, like going back and forth, and I wasn't really too into fantasy at that point whenever I first read Fourth Wing, so I kind of needed a little bit more of like a buffer with that book, even though I did love Fourth Wing. But I feel like I didn't get as much out of Love Theoretically or feel as connected to Elsie and Jack, the two main characters in that one, as a lot of people were saying. Like people were saying that that was their favorite Ali Hazelwood book, and I absolutely like devoured The Love Hypothesis. I liked Love in the Brain a lot, and I'm really liking this one so far too. So I kind of want to reread that one because I just feel like I didn't read it at like the right time or in the right circumstance. And I remember enjoying it, but I just don't really remember anything about it, and that makes me kind of sad. So I do want to reread that one. But back to this one. I feel like there's already like a lot of great tension. I almost feel like there's like a little bit of backstory in here too that we're really not getting, not just with her dad, but with like the romance in here as well. The cover is just so freaking cute too. Like I could go on and on and on about this cover, especially the back, the watercolors. I'm literally in love with the way this book looks. I remember being obsessed with it when I saw it first on Goodreads, whenever like the cover first got released. Literally just so freaking gorgeous. I do have to say though, I don't really understand how this is a YA book because there's been a lot of talks about spice. I mean, it's not like shown, so maybe that's why it can be a YA book, because it's like not shown, it's just kind of like briefly talked about in like a paragraph or two. But like the theming of the spice is there, so I don't really understand that. Not that I'm not like enjoying it for that reason, because obviously I read like new adult contemporary books, but I just don't understand what classifies it as like a YA, if that makes any sense. Otherwise, I'm really enjoying it. It feels completely different than the last YA book that I read, but in a good way. Like they were both good, but they're so different, and that's what I love about reading books, is that you can get two totally different things from two of my favorite authors, and I just love that. I think it's so cool. Okay, I'm currently at Luke's desk. I decided to sit in his chair because I've been sitting like on the couch all day. Well, not all day. I did go to like my other job today, but the time that I've been home, I've been sitting on the couch reading, and I just kind of wanted a little change of scenery. So we're gonna sit over here and have a little fun time in his like swivelly, what is this called? Rolly chair. I also have a chai, which I'm so excited about. You know I love a good chai. I also did just have a giggling, kicking feet moment, so I feel like I should just be recording my reactions at this point because I don't know, guys. I think I'm enjoying this book a lot. You're kidding me. I need his POV right now. I need Nolan's POV immediately. Stop. What? Oh my god. Okay, her sisters, I'm sorry for the squeaky chair. Her sisters in this book, hilarious. Like I am literally like eating their little words up. It's very funny. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Whoops. Checking May early this morning, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. How is this young adult? They don't really talk explicitly about like a spice scene. Like they don't have any like spice scenes. They do, like it's talked about, but it's not like shown almost, if that makes any sense. So maybe that's why the age of the characters also doesn't make any sense to me, because like they're literally like not in high school. When I think young adult YA, I think high school. And there's also just a lot of like adultish theming kind of in here. So like if I'm thinking about me at like 13, 14, 15 reading this book, or like if I had a child that was that age, I don't think this should be marketed as a young adult book. Just because it has no spice doesn't mean that it's meant for a younger audience. Other than that though, I really, really enjoyed this. And this isn't a rom-com-y YA book. This is more of a contemporary romance. And I wouldn't even say romance. It's almost giving me like literary fiction vibes. The romance is such a huge subplot, and I think that's the reason why whenever a lot of people went into this book, this isn't what they were expecting, so they might have given it a lower rating. But I actually really enjoyed the fact that it followed Mallory's story a lot more, and it talked a lot about chess. Like there was a lot of chess information in here, but I didn't feel stupid. I didn't feel like I didn't know anything the entire time. Allie Hazelwood just has a very explicit way of explaining things that don't make you feel dumb. Absolutely love that about her. And I loved the story. It was just so interesting and intriguing, and the romance wasn't even the most important part of it. It just kind of like added a little sprinkle onto it and made Mallory feel more real, which I really enjoyed. I liked Mallory. I related to her struggles and stuff like that too, which as a 22-year-old reading a young adult book is kind of rare sometimes too. I don't know what classifies as young adult. Can somebody please like clear that up for me? Because I know I'm 22 and I am a young adult, you know what I mean? But like when I'm thinking young adult book, I'm thinking like Lynn Painter's books where all her characters are in high school. I'm not thinking like 18 and 20-year-old in the chess world. You know what I mean? And also, there wasn't even that much mention of TikTok. I've heard so many people complain about that, saying that those things are cringy and stuff like that. YA books, straight up, like, you gotta accept the cringe a little. And I know everybody's subject to their own opinion and stuff like that, but also whenever you're going into a book, you also have to accept that book for what it is. And I know the book's not gonna be for everybody, but when you go into a YA book, there's gonna be a little cheese, there's gonna be a little cringe, okay? Like, the young adults love the TikTok, okay? Just like straight up. So it makes sense to have TikTok in a young adult book. And I feel like it wasn't talked about that much even, so like it wasn't even cringy. Also, the little sisters, loved them. They were so cute. I love their relationship with them, and I love how deep Mallory is, and I feel like I related to her so much. I just really enjoyed this. This is definitely up there with Allie Hazelwood's books. I like this one a lot. Now our next book, which I am so excited for, it is a indie author, and I haven't really heard too much about her or heard about her books too much. This book is by Liana. It's either Sincati or Kincati. I think it's Kincati. Liana Kincati, and it's called Picking Daisies on Sundays. Can we just talk about the cover? Look how adorable that is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read this. This is a YA rom-com-y moment. And the reason why I wanted to buy this, one, adorable, speaks for itself. Two, it was described as for lovers of Lynn Painter and To All the Boys I Loved Before, i.e. me. So I'm just so excited to read this. I feel like it is the perfect book for getting in like a romancy cutesy mood just from even looking at it. I'm in a romancy cutesy mood. The only things I really know about it is there's some of my favorite tropes in here. I'm pretty sure we get second chance romance and friends to lovers. So I'm very excited, obviously, because I love those. And other than that, don't really know too much, but I will check back in with you guys whenever I kind of figure out the basic plot. Don't mind the balloons behind me. It was my birthday. Luke went a little ham with the decorations. We love him for it. That was very cute. I'm on chapter 15 and page 106 of Picking Daisies on Sundays, and I'm enjoying it. So, no, I am enjoying it, for real. I am liking it a lot. It's basically about this girl named Danny, and she met this guy named Levi whenever they were in high school. And they both kind of trauma bonded, but then she was like in love with him, and he just like didn't feel the same. So then they haven't talked for a while, and then now it's like college time, and they're back in each other's lives for one reason or another. I don't want to like spoil the reason why, obviously, even though I'm pretty sure it's on the back. It is. I'm just gonna say it. They fake date. We all know I love the fake dating trope. Okay, like that's like one of my top tropes, if not my top trope. Danny's in school to be a designer, and Levi is in school something for literature. I know he wrote his own book. There have been a few like cute little moments, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not really feeling it right now or what's going on. Maybe I need to get a little bit more into the book to feel it a little bit more, but I know I'm enjoying it. I just don't know if I'm like particularly connected to the characters yet. The storyline is interesting though, and the cover is very cutie. There were also a few typos and mistakes and stuff like that that I could definitely tell. I had to like reread them a few times to be like, is that like supposed to be that way? But this is also like an indie published book, so they probably just didn't catch those things, which is totally fine. And like I know what the author is trying to convey, so it's not like it's impossible for me to read those things. And it's only been like 3 times, so it really hasn't been that bad. But if you are gonna buy this book, just know that it has those. I'm gonna update you guys whenever I get a little bit more invested in the story and get a little bit more into it, because I feel like my thoughts right now just like are no thoughts, because I have none. So let's keep reading. I just finished Picking Daisies on Sundays, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I feel like I really haven't talked enough about this book in this vlog or given this book, I guess, the amount of time that it honestly deserves because I enjoyed it so incredibly much. I think it was kind of tough because not that I haven't enjoyed the past 2 books that we've read. I literally enjoyed Check and Mate so much, and I thought the do-over was really cute and fun. So I don't know why, but whenever I started this book, I was starting to feel really slumpy, and it took me a lot longer to read than like normal. So I think that that's kind of why I wasn't really talking about it. And then today I literally binged the last 150 pages. So just a point to say that it had nothing to do with the book. It had everything to do with me and the kind of mood I was in. I've also read a lot of romances in a row, so maybe I just need like a fantasy or a mystery or something. The writing at the beginning almost feels like a completely different writer than what we got at the end, and I could just see her growth throughout the book as I was reading, and like towards the last half it gave me feelings of a 5-star book. Like that's how much I was in loving it. Levi oh my gosh, the way he's described, like he's just the perfect boyfriend. He has this like preppy, like cutesy, old-timey kind of like chic guy style, because he's literally a TA, an English professor TA. He teaches a Jane Austen class. Are you kidding me? Literally my dream man. Point blank period. And I really like Danny too, our main girl. There were so many elements of this that were just so precious and cute. I think the biggest thing that she struggled with was insecurities, and that's why a lot of like miscommunication happened between these two. For both of them too, I mean, they both couldn't see what was right in front of their faces the whole entire time. But I think for Danny, for her to love someone else, she literally had to love herself, and I just kind of loved like the moment of self-discovery she was having in this book. I think a few things at the end were a little bit rushed that I wish would have been paced a little bit different. I think the pacing overall of this book was just a little off. Not that I didn't enjoy it, because I absolutely loved it, the storyline, the characters, and I loved Levi's sisters. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I love kids in books. I know that not everybody does, but I really enjoyed it. The fact that they were so integrated in it, and it was so cute. Like him looking after them and stuff. Ugh. I just found myself relating to these characters so much. I loved their story. Guys, like I can't talk highly enough about this book. I really like it. I'm gonna read her other book that she has out. I think she has one more. Yeah, she has another book. It's called Don't Be in Love, and it came out in 2022. Definitely adding that to my want to read because I enjoyed this one so much. There's a ton of things too towards the end that just kind of click and make sense. Kind of as you're reading, you figure out things and things unravel, and I just really love that too. I don't know, I was just giggling and I was just loving this book. I feel like I didn't film a lot of my reactions to it or didn't get the chance to talk about it as much just because I flew through it today and wasn't expecting that. But I feel like just from that, you can just tell how much I loved it. I just love this. It was so cute. Okay, I had a little bit of time to think on my ratings, so let's go ahead and do a reading wrap up of all the books that I read in this video. The first book we started with was The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I think I'm gonna rate this a 3.75. This definitely isn't my favorite Lynn Painter book, but I still really enjoyed it. It was cute, it was fun. The characters in it were cute, the romance was cute. I think the Groundhog Day did affect my connection almost to the characters just because they were going through the same things every day. I just didn't feel as connected to these characters as other characters that Lynn Painter's written, but I still enjoyed it. It was very fun and cute. The next book I read was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I think I'm gonna rate this a 4.25, maybe a 4.5. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I really enjoyed this book, as you guys saw. I mean, I was giggling, kicking my feet. I loved it. I don't know if this actually classifies as like a YA book. In my opinion, it is Fade to Black, but it does talk about a lot of adult scenarios and things, so just know that going into it if you want to read it. And it did talk a lot more about chess and about Mallory and her life than the romance itself, but I still really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. And then my last book was Picking Daisies on Sundays. The exposure is so high you can barely see it. It's by Leanna Kincati, and I really love this book. There's a few things that I didn't mention earlier whenever I was talking about it. let me pop up. There was one quote that I took a picture of just because I thought it was absolutely so precious. I literally read it aloud to Luke because I was like, okay. It was like a love confession moment. I feel like characters always have that, just like a classic moment in romance books. He said, I wanted to tell you that you look beautiful because you are. I knew I wouldn't miss you when you walked in tonight because you are you. You're so physically enthralling, let alone when you speak. When you speak, all the light in the room comes from you. You're absolutely sunshine and spring. What? If somebody ever said that to me, I'd be caught dead. I would. I don't even know what to say. And if I could think of one word for this book, I could think of adorable. You know, like it's just adorable. And this is also no spice. And if I could think of one book that this reminds me of that is traditionally published, I would think of Love in Other Words. Now the stories, very different. The characters, very different. All of that kind of stuff. But I just feel like the wholesomeness and the sweetness and the adorableness of Macy and Elliot's relationship to Levi and Danny's relationship, it just mirrors each other a lot. And I don't know, it's just so cute. There were also just so many other things besides the one quote I said that were so lyrically and beautifully written that I noticed towards the other half of the book. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I was saying earlier, I think that whatever, as she was writing, her writing got better and better, and I could truly see the progression of her writing throughout the book, which was so cool to like see somebody grow as an author throughout the book. I thought that was a super cool experience. But I really did love this book. I highly recommend it. I am in between, I think, a 5 and a 4. I don't think it's a 5 and I don't think it's a 4, but I know it's like one of those 0.25, 0.5, 0.75s, one of those guys, because I just really liked it and I loved the characters. Okay guys, those are all my thoughts on the books that we read in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any thoughts on these books, any books you want me to read, anything like that, go ahead and leave that down in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and are having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. Luke? Debut. My battery's dead. Really? I was so messy. Danny is in school.
Sorry.